All right, this is Kyle Graves here with Chris Goodman. We're here to talk about what's next for the Arkansas Razorbacks. It's been a great 2020-21 season for the Hogs, finishing 8th in the country this season, heading into the SEC championship. Chris, what are your thoughts on this tremendous, historic Arkansas Razorback basketball season?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't get much better than this. I mean, it could if we win the Natty, but, just with how last year ended, the SEC tournament got halted halfway through, and then they canceled the NCAA tournament just to come into this year. And, we started off rough in the beginning of the year, and we had, I think, a 4 or 5 game losing streak, or maybe 3 or 4. And then we lost to Alabama pretty bad, and then we lost to LSU. And after that, I mean, it's been crazy to see. Really, we should have 12 wins in a row. We have 11 SEC wins in a row. But that one loss to Oklahoma State, which they're a pretty good team. It's not you never want to lose a game, but if you do, it's an okay loss to them in there. And right here going into tournament play, like you said, number 8 in the country and a 3 seed in the tournament. I mean, that's crazy. I don't think that's happened since I've been alive.
It really is amazing and historic, and I've been pretty reluctant to hop on the Muss bus for the way that Mike Anderson I felt was mistreated. I just I had to hop on the Muss bus. I mean, it's just undeniable the level that we're playing on. For whatever reason, Mike did not get the Hogs playing at this level.
Yeah.
But even though, we're breaking all these records, I can't just dive into the hype so far. We have to go to the Sweet 16. I can't say that this season is a bust. It won't be a bust if we don't go to the Sweet 16 because it was a tremendous season. I feel like it will be a letdown for us to accomplish so much, to be 8th, finish the season 8th in the country, and for us not to go to the Sweet 16 would be a tremendous letdown. But it has been just an incredible season, and I can't deny that Musselman brings something out of these players that I haven't seen since Nolan Richardson. I mean he makes average players into superstars.
Yeah.
I mean, especially look at Mason Jones, and just I hate to hear that. You told me that he just got cut from the Houston Rockets.
No.
It's like, man, oh man, well, what if where would the Hogs be if we had Mason Jones this season?
Yeah.
And my heart goes out to him. Hopefully a team picks him up. And that's just another example of, to me, unless people are telling you're going to be a one and done lottery pick superstar, NBA superstar, LeBron James, like Moses Moody.
Yeah.
You need to stay in college and get your degree, because Mason Jones, he could I think, what was he, a junior or a sophomore last year?
I think so. Yeah.
He was an underclassman, so
and
he
could have came back. Yeah.
He could have been back and getting his college paid for and working on a degree, and then now it's just like, all right, him already getting cut. Fingers crossed. I hope a team takes another chance on Mason Jones, and because SEC Player of the Year last year, and then he gets cut halfway through the season his rookie year. That just shows you, like you said, it's a business, and they're college players want to act like, we're not getting paid, but you're getting paid and pampered a lot.
Yeah, and it's what you get in college legally isn't nowhere near as much as you can make as a pro athlete, so a lot of that comes into it. And then there's the kind of psychological thing. A lot of these players come from bad situations in their personal life. They may have grown up with one parent, or grown up in the hood, or grown up out on a farm somewhere with not a lot of money, just all over the place. And when they do this good and people start saying they could make all this money, they start thinking, oh, well, I could help my mom do this, or I could help my dad do this, And, a lot of that weighs into the decision to leave early. And I'm sure Mace Mason Jones will be perfectly fine. He's an outstanding player. He'll end up on a roster somewhere.
Yeah, I think we're trying to. It seems like Arkansas's scrutinized more than other teams, and I could be completely wrong about that, but we were talking about it earlier about the LSU coach, blatantly paying players, and that just seems to be swept underneath the rug. But if that was to happen to Mike Anderson or Musselman, it'd be all over ESPN, and they'd been thrown underneath the bus, fired like Gus Malzahn, or not Gus Malzahn, Bobby Petrino.
Yeah.
And I just feel that we're trying to do it. It takes longer to win doing it the right way.
Yeah.
And I think that's why Kentucky hasn't been that great this year. I think the NCAA is keeping an eye on him, but Kentucky's always a team that I don't want to play. I'm confident that we could beat them this year.
Oh yeah.
Do you? They're not playing well, but still they're always dangerous because it's Kentucky. What's your predictions on the SEC tournament coming up this weekend?
I think it's going to be a wild one. That's for sure. I mean, Arkansas and Alabama are clearly right now the two best teams in the SEC, but that doesn't necessarily mean we'll win the SEC. Alabama and Arkansas. I mean, I think South Carolina and Tennessee have a good shot. Ole Miss can surprise some people. LSU. I mean, all these teams can come out of nowhere and get hot and surprise people. I think we play the winner of Georgia and Ole Miss. Ole Miss is a 6 seed, Georgia's a 10. Georgia could beat Ole Miss, and then come play us. This year in the SEC, Alabama has completely beat everybody, and Arkansas towards the end of the season just completely beat everybody. But like we saw with Texas A&M Saturday, I mean, teams that aren't good can come out of nowhere and have a good night. You mentioned Kentucky not playing good. When Arkansas played them the first time, Kentucky shot, I think, the best they had shot that to that point from 3 in that game. I mean, they came out and just played absolutely amazing and almost beat us. So Arkansas could come out and we're not making the shots, and Ole Miss is making the shots. Obviously you're not going to win the game. So I don't think we'll lose our first round game. The second round game, I don't know who we could end up playing, but I think Arkansas, we'll make a deep run in the SEC, if not win it all, and then hopefully can play our way into a 2 seed, because I think 3 out of the 7 teams in front of us are all Big Ten teams. So obviously, not all 3 of them can win the Big Ten. So 2 of those teams will have to at least lose one game, or will lose one game in the tournament. So Arkansas could play their way right into a 2 seed, and if that happens, I mean, that's crazy.
It's just the madness behind the NCAA tournament, and you never know the fire, the momentum that a team has coming into the tournament.
Yeah.
And even the last game of the season, was that South Carolina that we played?
Oh, this past Saturday was Texas A&M.
Texas A&M.
Yeah.
Well, Texas, we almost lost to we almost lost to them, and they weren't ranked. They had a losing season, but they're putting it all out there on the line. I mean, this was their NCAA tournament for them, and if it wasn't for Moody hitting that 3 at the end of the game, ice water in his veins, I mean, we could have very easily lost that game.
Yeah.
And it's one and done here on out. I mean, it's the SEC tournament and the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
And I hope and pray that the Hogs can make it to the Sweet 16, but you just never know who you're going to play and the mindset or the desperation that a team has. I mean, look at Virginia a couple years ago, number 1, and I forget who they lost to, but it was a upset, historic upset.
Yeah.
But I'm hopefully we're going to be the ones upsetting people this year.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like we already have been. I mean, we've overachieved.
Yeah.
And we just need to keep it going. And I would love to see Arkansas play Michigan in the Sweet 16.
Yeah.
And beat them.
Yeah. I mean, it could happen. We could easily, as a 3 seed the first couple of rounds, hopefully we're not upset. But then when we start getting,
so we're definitely a 3 seed.
Yeah, right now we're a 3 seed no matter what happens. And I think we're the first 3 seed because there's 4. We'll be the number 1 3 seed. which is why, a lot of people think we could play our way into a 2 seed if we win the SEC tournament. But, as a 3 seed, hopefully the round of 64, we don't, like I was saying earlier, the teams that are normally the Cinderella stories of the tournament, hopefully we don't run into any of those. Hopefully the first round team we play is some team that's, this is their first appearance and we can beat them. And then the second round, beat them. And then, we get into the Sweet 16. And hopefully, by then, I like Michigan as well, but hopefully they've been upset and are out of the tournament. Hopefully, all the better teams in the tournament are upset and out of the tournament, and we can kind of, I don't want to just easily take the easy road to the championship game. I'd like for there to be some difficulty and for it to show that Arkansas can play with these teams and win our way there. But at this point, I'll take a ring any way I can get it, and the teams like Loyola Chicago, and I think it was either UNBC or UMBC that beat Virginia a couple of years ago. Teams like that come out, because it's March Madness. There's going to be those teams that make the runs and come out and play and just surprise people. You got the 5 and 12. That's normally the 2 seeds that have the most upsets is the 12 over 5. Hopefully we don't have any of those games coming our way. I don't know what seed the 3 seed plays, but hopefully, we don't have those kind of upsets. And Arkansas, Sweet 16, Elite 8, I'll take. That's a winning season to me.
Our guards are playing so well. I don't. Baylor has some phenomenal guards.
Yeah.
But as far as starting guards and guards coming off the bench, I mean, we are stacked at the 1, 2, and the 3.
Yeah.
I think our guys have to play well. Our guards have to play well for us to win. But even if 1 or 2 of them are off, Devontae Davis stepped up, huge. I mean, he goes by Devo now. I mean, he's going by. I mean, you got to be good if you're going by a nickname.
Yeah.
I mean, and then Note has just stepped it up, and Tate has stepped it up.
Yeah.
I mean, all those guys. I mean, everybody. Moody has been the most consistent guy.
Yeah.
But all of those guys have stepped up, and then Desi Seals, is like the heart and soul of the team.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Devo is taking a lot of his minutes. I mean, I feel like he has to, because he's proven.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say he's just 100% better than Seals, but he's proven that he can control and manage the team.
Yeah.
And you gotta keep him in.
Yeah.
And I wish Seals the best. I hope he has a tremendous SEC tournament and NCAA tournament, and takes his ends his career at Arkansas on a winning note.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing, our weakness, is our big men, and not saying that it's a huge weakness, but compared to Michigan and which is one of your favorite teams, it's like, what do you think about that as far as our big men and how well they have to play? And
like you said, our guard play has been phenomenal. I think we can match up with any team across the country at the guard position. But when you start getting into the big, the 5 position is where Arkansas hurts the most. Because the 4, Justin Smith can play that, or we can bring in Jalen Williams.
He can play the 3 or the 2 as well.
Yeah, Justin Smith. I mean, that dude's an athlete. And, we can bring in Jalen Williams to play kind of the 4 and 5, whenever he comes back. He won't be available in the SEC tournament as of now.
Who was the other guy who got a block?
I think it was Ethan Henderson.
Ethan Henderson.
I think that's who you're talking about. He has been the role player of role players. He doesn't get a whole lot of minutes, but when he does get those minutes, he comes